What have you learned about technologies from the process of constructing this product? Before I started to make my magazine, I knew nothing about how to use Photoshop. During the process of making my magazine, I learnt to drop shadow text, and I have done this on almost every piece of text on my front cover to make everything stand out more and grab the audience's attention, especially the main cover line and the masthead. To drop shadow, I double-clicked on the layer of text I wanted to drop shadow, for example my masthead. I then double-clicked on the drop shadow tab in order to edit it. I moved the box so I could see what it looked like while I was doing it. I moved the sliders to a depth that I thought looked good. I then closed the box and repeated the process. Another thing I learnt to do was crop an image. To do this, I opened the image of the person I wanted to cut out. This was a picture of a well-known band's lead singer, and I chose him in order to appeal to my audience. I moved the excess from around his head. To do this, I selected the marquee tool and clicked and dragged an area I wished to delete, then pressed delete on my keyboard. This removed this section of the image. To then remove the more delicate areas around his head, I chose the lasso tool and clicked and selected around his head. I then double-clicked on an area away from his head to finish the selection. Again, I pressed delete and repeated the process. After I cropped the person out fully, I decided that the edges looked too harsh and he looked very cut out. To give it a more realistic look, I had to soften the edges by feathering it. To do this, I selected with the lasso tool again, around his head, and then clicked select in the top toolbar, modify, and then feather. To shorten the process, once I had selected the area I wanted to feather, on my keyboard I pressed Alt, Ctrl and D. This sped up the process because it was a shortcut, and I chose to feather it to 10 pixels. Also, throughout the pages, I used a tool called Colour Picker in order to follow my house style that I'd made. Using the Colour Picker is really simple to use. I clicked on the tool, then clicked on an image or anywhere around the page and it selected the colour. I could then use this anywhere in my work. I use this tool most obviously on my double page spread. I placed the image on the left hand page and selected the tool. I then extracted a colour from the image and used it for the background on the right hand page. I did this because it linked the pages together. To make adjusting things more easier and more accurate, I took Snap off, put rulers on and also added some guidelines. To do this, I clicked View in the top toolbar, clicked Snap to remove it because it is automatically selected. I then had to click View again because the menu closes after something is done. I clicked on rulers to get them up on the screen. To get up guidelines, I clicked on the outer edge of the rulers and dragged from the top for horizontal rulers and from the side for vertical rulers, and then dragged them to the place I wanted them. I did this on my front cover to make sure that nothing went over onto the very edge of the page and to keep things in line. I also did this on my double page spread to put gutters between the texts. I really quite enjoyed learning all these things and it made me feel more comfortable with making my magazine.